Julie, you've got a very nuanced take on all of these announcements. I want to start with the watch and, of course, Apple playing up the healthcare aspects of these new watches and how critical the watch has thus far been to driving more health awareness. How significant or what is most significant in your view about these watch reveals?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing here is that Apple is making strong moves to move beyond their core base of what I would call affluent, healthy athletes. This combination of lower price points, healthcare measurements, right, family programs, features that appeal to children, workouts for beginners, are all going to help them attract a broader audience. Their core audience today, I would say, is still too small. And I think the other thing that's really important here is Apple has always had an aspiration of playing a significant role in the healthcare space. So doing things like adding blood oxygen and being able to measure that checks another box for them and gives them even a bigger role that could go beyond heart disease and puts them on track to become more a part of people's day-to-day lives.
So, where does Apple go from here when it comes to the watch? They've sort of put a lot of the gears, if you will, in place to, make this something bigger. But obviously there's potential that needs to be realized.
Yeah, so I think in terms of where we go from here, it's going to probably take an even lower price point to get out to consumers. If we're talking about getting to critical mass at 20% or mass market at 50%. I think also one of the things on the list and where they're clearly headed is doing a better job of presenting consumers with insights and then nudging them to act on those insights. So it's not simply that, hey, my blood pressure is high or my heart rate is high, but hey, you're probably on the verge of cardiac arrest. You should go to a hospital. The second thing we talked about is really, again, driving broader adoption at lower price points. I don't know that they're going to be able to do this on their own. They may need to depend here on their broader ecosystem and either payers or healthcare providers or even the U.S. government deciding, for those on Medicare and Medicaid, that wearing an Apple Watch or some kind of a smartwatch like that has a positive ROI in terms of driving down the cost. And then I think the third thing, Emily, is if we tap into the services bundles that they're rolling out, just continuing to provide a seamless, services experience across all of their devices. While Apple may not be number one in terms of the number of users in Apple in TV or in music or games and so forth, we know they have very high-quality services, a customer base that skews affluent, and then the seamless, operability or use of the services across their hardware platform, including the watch, is going to continue to serve them well.
So how are you expecting this all to play out in the holiday quarter? Obviously, we are expecting new iPhones to be unveiled next month. It's typically, a booming quarter, the last quarter of the year for Apple through the holidays. They've got these new offerings, these new subscription bundles, but, also we're in a really difficult economic time with so many people having lost their jobs and really struggling as much as they need these devices to keep themselves connected. What is your outlook?
Yes, I think there's twofold here. I think on one hand, there's the total cost, right, of providing healthcare, providing education, and Apple and others like it that are building consumer electronics, I think are going to continue to do well because it's necessary for folks to get access to services remotely. And then I think certainly bundling their services, as well as the free 30 days up front and the trial periods, also give consumers an opportunity to trial the services at a lower price point, and then hopefully they'll stick with them once they get the opportunity to experiment with them.